Hello Achievers, welcome to Shakti's Knowledge Hub, myself Dr. Shakti Suganyanya. Today we are going to discuss about a topic, fixed capital, which belongs to the subject financial management and which is matching to all the UG courses related to commerce and management background as well for the CBSE syllabus. And in this we are going to discuss about the introduction of fixed capital and the factors affecting the requirement of fixed capital. That is, what is the fixed capital requirement in the organization and in what ways this thing has been decided. So this is what we are going to discuss now. The first is about the introduction of the fixed capital. Fixed capital refers to investment in long-term asset. Investment in fixed asset is for longer duration and they may be financed through long-term sources of capital. Decisions related to fixed capital involves the huge capital funds and are not reversible without incurring heavy losses. So the term itself is clearly explaining about the concept what the fixed capital is about. So if you want to start or proceed with your existing business or maybe for a new business, definitely you need some fund as a capital. That is the initial investment for the business, and that can be of different ways to be used and the different sources you will use to secrete those funds. So in that aspect, if you want to invest your money in the different aspect or maybe the different zones, the one important thing is the fixed capital. So here the fixed capital means the investment in long-term assets. Whatever the assets you are using or which is influencing to your business for a very long-term period, for that purpose if you are making some investment means that is called as the fixed capital. So any amount or any capital or a fund which you are using as an investment in a long-term basis for the long-term asset. So the investment in fixed asset is for the longer duration, for a very long period, more than a year or maybe a decade, or depends on the nature of business and some of the other steps. They must be financed through the long-term source of capital. And we have talked about the different sources of financing. For secreting the capital fund for your business, we need to or we may go for the different sources. So out of that, one thing is a long-term sources. So through the long-term source, we may collect the fund for our fixed capital. And the decisions related to fixed capital involves the huge capital fund. So the decision what you are taking related to this thing is completely involved with the huge fund. That is the very big amount. So we need to take any steps in a very effective and in a very careful manner. And also not reversible without incurring the heavy losses. So we should be very careful that business should not cause any losses because the fund is very big, the investment is very big, and we have secreted from a very long-term source for our capital. So we should be very careful with all this thing. And here this fixed capital is playing a very important role in every business. And now we are going to discuss about the topic which is related to the fixed capital is the factors affecting requirement of fixed capital. So we need fixed capital for our business. That may depends on the different situations. So that situation is considered as the factors here. What are all the different factors which is affecting or which is contributing or which is showing its priority to decide our fixed capital? That is, in what basis we will be selecting or we will be deciding about our fixed capital. So what are all the different factors is incurring in that. Out of that, the first one is nature of business. So the nature of business in the sense the type of business. So it may be vary from one business to another business. On that basis, this fixed capital will be decided. So the nature of business. Manufacturing concerns requires the huge investment in fixed asset and thus the huge fixed capital is required for them. But trading concern needs less fixed capital as they are not required to purchase plants and machinery, etc. So it depends on the nature of business, the fixed capital and its requirement will getting varied. So here we have a two situations. So the one is manufacturing concern. In case our business nature is manufacturing oriented, definitely we need a huge investment because we need to buy all the bulk raw materials, heavy equipped plants and machineries, all those things. We need to make some fixed capital investment. So in that basis, if our business is manufacturing concern, definitely we need a huge thing. In case the opposite scenario, if we are doing any trading concern or maybe trading or sales dealing related businesses means here the fixed capital will not be much required because the purchase of plants and machinery, all those things is not required. So in this basis, whether we are doing manufacturing or trading or any of the other nature of business, that fixed capital will be decided. And the second factor is scale of operation. So what is the scale or level of operation we are doing, whether ours is large or medium or small or a very small scale. Likewise, all this thing will be depending or will be deciding the fixed capital requirement and its proportion. So an organization operating on large scale requires more fixed capital as compared to an organization operating on the small scale. So here we have a two different situation. One is the large scale operation business and the small scale operation business. In case our business is a large scale one, that is the large scale operation which is manufacturing a bulk quantity, a business is big, means definitely in that particular situation we need a more fixed capital. But in the opposite case, by comparing to this large scale, the opposite thing is the small scale industry. In case any business organization is running in a small level, means their fixed capital requirement will be very less. Here we have an example for an understanding. A large steel plant enterprises like Tisco requires a large investment as compared to the mini steel plant. So both are same nature of business. Both industries are same. The steel plant. But the thing is, that is the difference is the large scale and the small scale. So this is just for an example. Tisco is the largest steel plant industry and enterprises, so that they need a large investment as a fixed capital. But in case of any of the mini or any small steel plants, they don't want much investment as a fixed capital. And the third important factor is choice of technique. So the technique or the technology or the method which we are using for our business, which thing we are going to choose, depends on the technique or technology, the investment for the fixed capital will be getting varied. An organization using the capital intensive techniques requires the more investment in plant and machinery as compared to the organization using the labor intensive technique. So here we have a two different situation. One is intensive techniques and the other one is labor intensive technique. So the capital intensive technique in the sense the highly automatic or maybe so machinerized one or more plants and equipments or machineries will be using for our manufacturing process in the business, means in that situation definitely we need more capital, so that amount of proportion will be taken for a fixed capital. And in case of the opposite thing, the labor intensive techniques, that means any manufacturing process that is mainly done by the labor forces or any human resources only used for those manufacturing process. So such type of organization will be required only less capital or maybe sometimes very less capital as a fixed investment for their fixed capital. So this is also a factor. So choice of technique depends on the technique what we are using in our business. This fixed capital will be decided. And the next is technology upgradation. So in what basis we are upgrading or we are utilizing our technology. It may be either the old technology or maybe the very simple technology or maybe the advanced one. Likewise, the situation depends on the organization and their decision. Organization using the assets which become obsolete faster required more fixed capital as compared to the other organization. So as we discussed, if any faster or maybe advanced technology, machineries or equipments has been used in that particular business, means that the fixed capital requirement will be very high. And in case if there is no much technology or there is less technology in the business or in the organization, means there the fixed capital requirement will be less. So this technology upgradation is also one of the important factor which is deciding the fixed capital requirement. And the next factor is the growth prospect. So what is the growth progress or its chart of the organization? So some organization may grow continuously in a very positive manner and some organization may goes in a stable way and some may go in a lower or maybe in the negative aspect. So in that growing aspect also, so the growth prospect of the business also, the fixed capital will be decided. Companies having more growth plans requires more fixed capital because they need to invest more and more money in all their new machineries, equipments, technology and so on. So in that situation, when the company is showing its growth in a very positive way in a continuous manner, means definitely they will be in need of a more fixed capital. And in the other aspect, in order to expand the production capacity, more plants and machineries is required. So in that situation, so like if they want to expand their production or maybe the capacity or the quantity of production, definitely they need more machineries and plants, so they will invest more for the fixed capital. But in case nothing is in the change, no investment is required if they are not doing any progress in an advanced manner. So this is the different situation. And the next is diversification. Any company or an organization is having an idea to diversify from one nature of business to another nature, or maybe one product to another product, or maybe some of the multiplication of different product, means that or in that situation they will be in need of more fixed capital. In case a company goes for the diversification, then it will require more fixed capital to investment fixed assets like plant and machinery. So as usual, diversification. Imagine a company X is manufacturing the household products, but suddenly after sometimes they are planning to move some of the Medicare products or maybe healthcare products or something. This is just an example for the understanding. So the machineries or equipment what they used for the first business will not be suitable. So definitely they need to go with the further investment for their fixed capital for all the plant and machinery for the second type of businesses, because they are diversifying from the one to the other. The first thing will not match to the second one. So in that diversification situation, they need more fixed capital. So depends on that diversification, this fixed capital amount will be deciding. And the next is distribution channel. This is one of the important aspect that every business will go through. This thing we will be discussing in a separate subject called the marketing management in a very detailed manner, because this distribution channel is playing a very important role in every business for promoting their product by reaching to their customer. And this distribution channel will also decide the fixed capital. The firm which sells its product through the wholesaler and retailer requires the less fixed capital. So it depends on the distribution channel or the middle people, whomever is coming under their business nature will also decide the fixed capital requirement, whether they are using the wholesaler or retailer, or maybe sometimes if they are selling by themselves directly, or all this thing will be considered into account for the selection of their fixed capital. And the last one is collaboration. So collaboration in the sense company A is combined with company B. So the two businesses joining together. So they are collaborating with each other, means definitely their contribution to each other will be in the equal proportion. In that situation, let's see how the fixed capital requirement will be. If companies are under the collaboration or any joint venture, then they need less fixed capital as they share plant and machinery with their collaborations. So these things is also like different topics like merger, acquisition, collaboration, joint venture. This thing we will be discussing in a separate subject in a detailed manner, because so many things is there in the business progresses. So out of that, one thing is the collaboration. So any collaboration or combination of two business joining together, that can be maybe either joint venture also. So in that situation, what is the situation here? The fixed capital requirement will be less. The reason what they are insisting is they will be sharing the plant and machinery. So both company will be working together or going to proceed their business in future together. So both is the same nature of business. In that scenario, no need to go with the new plant or machinery requirement for purchase. So in that situation, their fixed capital requirement will be very less. So these are all the different factors which is influencing or which is affecting the requirement of a fixed capital for every organization, and the things may be getting varied from one to other. So this is what an outline about the fixed capital and its requirement of factors, and we'll see the other topics in detail in the financial management subject in the future video. Okay friends, with this we are coming to the end of today's discussion. If this is the first time you are seeing our channel, do subscribe and hit the bell icon for the future notification. Post your requirements in the comment section as well as in the mail ID which we given in the about page. Go through the about page to know more about us. See you all soon in our next video. Thank you all for watching. Have a good day. Bye.